Good evening and welcome one and all to Pacific414 Pop Talk. I am your host Mike, and tonight I'm doing something a little different, but just because it's going to be a little different tonight doesn't mean it's going to be the status quo going forward. Tonight I am trying a 1 hour version of Pop Talk to see how you all like a 1 hour version as compared to a 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour, 6 hour version. The only thing about a 1 hour version of Pop Talk is that there won't be any pop ins. The pop ins will occur on Sunday. If you guys say you like the 1 hour versions, or if you wanted me to go to 2 hour versions, that's fine. Or 3 hour version, that's fine. This has been something I've been thinking about for a while. It's, you know, it's not always easy during the weekday to do a long edition of Pop Talk, but I keep pushing through because I enjoy it. But I have been thinking about it for a while now that maybe not the Wednesday edition. Maybe I'll keep that to its normal format. Maybe shorten it to 2 hours, but it is something that I've been considering of having a 1 hour version of Pop Talk, and I picked this Wednesday edition to actually do it. So before I get into any of the articles, I have a question to ask of each and every one of you. And the question is going to be posted here just shortly. So just give me time to actually type it up. And in the meantime, while I'm typing it up, I do want to say hello to Phil McCracken and Alan Copeland. Welcome. And again, my question is, would you watch a 1 hour version of Pop Talk, a 2 hour, or a 3 hour version of Pop Talk instead of, going 5, 6 hours? So let me just put that poll question into the chat. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna I'm gonna word it like this. Would you watch a shorter version of Pop Talk? Whether it be 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. So let me just finish it up here and add a few extra options. And of course, the main yes and no. And then the other options, I'm going to add 2 hours or, and then the other option will be 3 hours. So let me just get that in there real quick. And with the 2 hours and 3 hours, it would still include pop-ins if you know that you want to be on the show the day before. Then what we can do is you can contact me either on Discord or on Twitter, and I can go ahead and send you the link. This way, you're with me at the start of the show. And anyone who wishes to join, who maybe doesn't want to communicate by Discord or Twitter, but they want to be here in the chat at the time the show goes live, and you want to join, then I will go ahead and post the invite link like I normally do. So let me first go ahead and read your comments, and then I'll get right into the stories. And Phil McCracken says, "Boo, boo, nothing to see here. Move along." And then we have Alan Copeland who says, "Hey, Pacific." Hello, Alan Copeland. It's always nice to see you. And Phil McCracken says, "Dear you two, please have mercy on this channel." Oops, 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 oops. Okay, Phil. All right. And Cobra Disney Jedi says, currently watching the Orville as I'm watching this. Oh, brother. I don't know if this is your first time watching the Orville or if you've already watched seasons 1 and 2, but I will say this. there are a lot of good things about season 3, and then some things that I didn't like, but it didn't take away the overall experience. And let's see, Alan Copeland is saying, "Hey to Cobra Disney Jedi." Phil McCracken is saying, "I am voting none of the above." That's not an option. Oh, sorry, Phil. That's not an option, brother. And let's see. Cobra Disney Jedi is saying hello to Alan Copeland. So let's go ahead and get into our first article. And as far as the poll is concerned, let's see, it doesn't look like it posted it. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. So let me try something here, and then I'll get into the first article. I don't know what's going on. 'Cause I'm not seeing it on the studio side of things. So I'm going to go into stream itself and see if it's there. If it's not, I will post it again. I don't know why it's not showing up. I hit enter after I put in questions. No, it's not showing up. So let's try this. All right. Here's another option because for some reason YouTube didn't post it. But what else is new? The question for tonight is: would you watch a shorter version of Pop Talk with it being 1 hour? Would you prefer a 2 hour version where there's still pop ins, or a 3 hour version where there's still pop ins? Sunday morning Pop Talk would it be changing? Not saying that the Wednesday show is going to be changing, but would you guys prefer a shorter version of Pop Talk that doesn't go on for hours and hours and hours? If you want to say yes, put a one, no, two. If you want the 3 hour version, put a four. If you want a 2 hour version, put it three. So let me also welcome Gap After Dark. Welcome, Gap After Dark. How are you doing? And everyone is saying hi to everybody. So let's go ahead and get into this first article here. And I will still try to put that poll question in there as I move along here. So, our first article is actually going to be about wrestling, and it comes from Wrestling Inc. because there was a brawl after the AEW All Out pay per view the other night, and it did involve CM Punk, who just recently returned. So, it says AEW executive reportedly witnessed post AEW All Out brawl. Now, I know what the first thought's gonna be. It's a shoot. It's it's not happening. It's just part of a storyline. Well, let's find out here. It says the wrestling world is shivering in anticipation over the fate of CM Punk in AEW following his post All Out media scrum comments and a backstage brawl featuring Punk, Ace Steel taking on members of the Elite. And as we wait, more information is coming out about who witnessed the fight, including one key figure in the AEW hierarchy that could hold the fate of CM Punk and others in her hands. Earlier on Wednesday, a Twitter user tweeted out about a rumor that Mega Perek, AEW's chief legal officer, had apparently witnessed the altercation between Punk, Steel, and the Elite. Wrestling Observer's Dave Metzler, who was tagged in this tweet, provided confirmation regarding whether Parek, sorry, was or wasn't a witness with a one-word response. True. so she was there. Parekh has served as AEW's chief legal counsel since the promotion started in January 2019. In addition to her role in AEW, she also serves as executive vice president and chief legal counsel for the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars, which is run by AEW CEO Tony Khan's father, Shahid Khan. Parekh began working with the Jaguars in March 2013 as the team's vice president and general counsel before being promoted to her current position in 2016. As of this writing, it has been reported that the Elite, Brandon Cutler, Christopher Daniels, Michael Nakazawa, and Pat Buck have all been suspended for their roles in the brawl. No punishment has been announced regarding Punk or Ace Steel, though a decision is reportedly expected by the end of the day. So we have that. Now, is it a work? This is the wrestling business. And you never know what they're going to do to try to drive up ratings. They'll do crazy things in the wrestling business just so they can boost up the ratings, get eyes on their product. So part of me, as someone who watched wrestling day in and day out, thinks that this is a work. And the other part of me is thinking maybe it is real. I don't know. That's the thing. I really don't know. So my thought is I will find out after this broadcast or sometime tomorrow whether or not this was all staged. I mean, again, going back to what I've said, it's the wrestling business. So you always have to question what they are doing, why they are doing it, and if it's even going to be something that fans are going to gravitate to if it is a work. So that'll be interesting. And let me just check a few more things on the stream. I would love to see your comments on this article, especially with the article being linked in the chat. Let's just check a few things. Yep, that's good. That's good. Okay. All right. Real quick. Oh, let's see what happens now. Okay. So while I wait for your responses, I will go ahead and move on to our next story here. But yeah, I honestly think that this is a work. I think it's just something AEW is doing to build up the brand and try to get eyes on a product that isn't doing well right now. The ratings are down, and I don't know what the pay-per-view buys were for this past Sunday's pay-per-view, but from what I heard from a good friend, and I trust his opinion, he says that All Out wasn't very good. He says there was one match that actually stood out, but the rest of it was not very good. So let me go ahead and move on to this story from Anime News Network. And then we will get into the main topics. So there's the article for all of you to read at your own leisure. And I will go ahead and stop sharing that screen and share the screen for the next article. But yeah, uh, part of me thinks this is a work, and it's not unheard of in the wrestling business for actual real life authority figures, lawyers, or anyone else associated with the wrestling business to actually get involved in a storyline. So, our next story here from Anime News Network says Gundam Evolution game launches on Steam on December 21st and on consoles November 30th. It says free to play shooter game will launch for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. It says Bandai Namco Entertainment Europe began streaming 2 trailers on Tuesday for its new Gundam Evolution free to play shooter game, which reveals that the game will launch on Steam on September 21st and on consoles on November 30th in North America. In Asia and Europe, it will launch on Steam on September 22nd and on consoles specifically for Japan only on December 1st. It goes on to say the game will launch for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC in North America, Europe, and Japan. The game will also launch for PC in parts of Asia. In North America and Europe, the game will be available on Steam. The game is a free to play, team based first person shooter featuring 6 versus 6 player versus player combat with EVO coin currency available for real world purchases. It will feature 12 playable units, including the RX 78-2 Gundam and the ASW G08 Gundam Barbados. And it will also have, aside from EVO coins, players can earn capital points as they play, which they can use to unlock mobile suits and cosmetic items. The game will feature 3 modes: point capture, domination, and destruction. The Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy game launched digitally for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 on November 5th, with the first volume, which consists of episodes 1 through 5. The second and third volumes launched on November 19th and December 3rd, respectively. Each volume contains 5 episodes. The single player action game is based on the Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2 game. Bandai Namco Amusement launched the Mobile Suit Gundam Senjo no Kizuna 2 arcade game in July 2021. The company shut down its Mobile Suit Gundam Senjo no Kizuna Mobile Suit Gundam Bonds of the Battlefield arcade game on November 30th. So let's go ahead and take a look at this game. And before I play it, I will just close the window, then reopen the window. This way we can make sure that there is sound coming through. This way you all can hear the audio and see the. Of course, you'll see the action on screen, but I want to make sure that you can actually hear the game. So here we go. Let me go ahead and maximize the screen and let's take a look at this. Okay, so we see the various Gundams. And of course, it's lining up as player versus player. Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look bad at all. And with it being free to play, you go to play it and you can find out for yourself whether it's worth playing or if it's not worth playing. But it doesn't look too bad to me. I know if DJ Ronnie G were here, he'd probably be all over this. Doesn't look bad at all. Pretty cool. And I like that you get the different, mobile suits. All right. Again, it's free to play, so you're either gonna like it or you're not. And if you choose to, you know, pay to win, that's up to you. But it looks pretty cool. I'll probably download it from Steam and give it a try. I might even stream it. So that was the new Mobile Suit Gundam game that's coming out on November in November for console, but it's coming out in a couple of weeks on Steam. So, what do you guys think? Is that something that you would play? Or is it something you would skip? Let me know in the comments section. And in the meantime, I will go ahead and get on to our next story here. All right, so let me go ahead and share the screen. And here's our next story here from Geek Tyrant. And the reason why I selected this story is because Cobra Kai returns on Netflix this Friday. And I can't wait for it. Now, the way I'm going to do it for the episode reviews is I'm going to do it one episode at a time. So after I've watched episode one, I will either go live with my review of the episode or I will record the review. I'm almost thinking about going live with the review just because I want to, possibly have other people on the channel so we can talk about it. Let's see. Phil is saying, "This reminds me this one time in band camp." Come on, Phil. All right. So we have this article here from Geek Tyrant, and it says William Zabka says Cobra Kai creators have an end game to the story, suggested a new film trilogy. And goes off by saying Cobra Kai is heading into its fifth season this week, and while all of us fans have loved every season of the show, it has some wondering how many seasons the show will take to tell its story. We would be happy to see the show continue for a couple more seasons it has a as it has strong characters and such heart. But what might be in store according to the stars? Last week, we reported that Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso, teased a potential Karate Kid cinematic universe, explaining that the show has allowed for the characters and stories to branch off in so many directions. We could see a Miyagi prequel, a Cobra Kai prequel, a sequel series to the young characters in the show now. Really, there are many options and ways it could go. William Zabka was asked by Comic Book where he saw the future of the series heading, and he joked, "Yeah, there's no end game at all. We'll keep this thing for another 10 seasons," Zabka said with a laugh. "There's an end game," he clarified. "Everything's pointing to a place on the map for sure. It's a matter of how many we're going to get to that, but there's definitely an end game," he joked. "We're going to end this series, and then I think we're going to do a trilogy of films." When the young members of the cast were asked what they thought about returning to the lore in 30 years like the Karate Kid cast members did for Cobra Kai, they enthusiastically responded, "Oh yeah, of course." Oh no, O'Brien said. "Oh yeah," Griffin Santorpedo added. "Same," Dallas Dupree Young said. "I feel as though Cobra Kai really shaped our careers in a whole different light. And I think, to have the opportunity to go back 20, 30 years, I just think that would be incredible to be a part of that, he added. And I think we've all made lifelong friends on the set as well, O'Brien shared. It'd be crazy seeing everyone. Zolo Maradur, I can't say his name, but he plays Miguel. Said when asked the same question, "Yeah, I'm down. I'm in." Mary Mouser replied, "We keep going 30 years later, just over and over again." And then, of course, you get more replies. Yeah, they're all agreeing that they would actually come back in 30 years, but apparently William Zabka says that there is an end game for Cobra Kai. They're just not going to say when that end game is. And before I continue on, I do want to say hello to Input Latency. How are you doing? And Input, since you just got here and the poll doesn't seem to want to work today, there is a question. Now, tonight is a different edition of Pop Talk, and by different, I mean I'm only doing it for an hour tonight. I want to try it out. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. You know how Pop Talk can go to 3, 4, 5, even 6 hours sometime. And my question is, would you watch an hour version of Pop Talk? And if the answer is yes, then would you watch a 2 or 3 hour version where there are pop-ins? Because with the 1 hour version, it would just be me. There would be no pop-ins. But if it was a 2 or 3 hour version, then I would have pop-ins. But we would still have to keep things flowing so we can get through, either 2 hours or 3 hours. So that's my question. Would you watch a shorter version of Pop Talk without pop-ins if it was an hour show, or would you watch a 2 hour version or 3 hour version of Pop Talk and it still keeps the pop-ins? And I'm only doing it excuse me. I'm only doing it for tonight just as an experiment. So please let me know in the comments what you think. And while I wait for that, I will go ahead and move on to the next story. And also, if you want to comment on this story, by all means, comment on the story. The link for the story is in the chat right now. And I will go ahead and move on to our next story. And if we have time, I may just allow pop-ins, but it'll be very brief. So let's go ahead and share our next story here. And since we had just talked about games and then Cobra Kai, which actually does have a game, it's not too bad. We will go ahead and talk about Grand Theft Auto 5, since I myself has said that this game needed to end a long time ago and Rockstar needed to move on to Grand Theft Auto 6 a long time ago. And let's see. Input says, "Wish I could tell you a good answer. I just kind of exist for the people." You don't just exist. You're part of this channel. You come here each and every live stream. You have input. You're a subscriber. You have input. Even non-subscribers who are listening right now, you have input as well. And no pun intended. And I do want to say hello to Whoopa Troopa. Hope you're doing well this evening. Whoopa, I'm going to let you know what's going on. Tonight is a different edition of Pop Talk. And by different, I mean it's only going for an hour. Now, I've been thinking about this for a while. And the reason why I've been thinking about it is because there are times where Pop Talk can go 4, 5, 6 hours. And I'm just curious to know, would people out there in the YouTube lands, would individuals, people who, come in, come out, would you watch an hour version of Pop Talk that had no pop ins, or would you prefer a 2 hour or 3 hour version that still had pop ins? Where you can all join me and share your thoughts. Not saying it's going to be on a Wednesday edition. I'm just, you know, putting the feels out there, seeing what the audience says, gauging the audience. And all right. Oh, dude. Oh, what happened, man? Well, I wait for you to say, or if you just want to tell me later on Discord, that's fine too. I will go ahead and post a link to this article in the chat. And this article from comicbook.com says Rockstar Games update seemingly teases end of GTA 5. This was posted on Monday on their website. It says a recent move from Rockstar Games may have just indicated that work on Grand Theft Auto 5 is finally coming to a close. First released all the way back in 2013, Rockstar has continued to support GTA 5 for the better half of the past decade. This support has largely come in the form of additional content for GTA Online to go along with various ports of the game for PS4, PS5, and Xbox One, Xbox Series X. With the arrival of Grand Theft Auto 6 now on the horizon, though, it looks like Rockstar is finally putting the most recent entry in the series in the rearview mirror. Within the past week, Rockstar posted a vast new thank you page on its website to name all the various team members at the studio that worked on GTA 5 in some capacity over the past decade. That page largely just lists alphabetically all the people who assisted with the project, which, as you can imagine, results in thousands of folks being mentioned. GTA 5 and GTA Online represent the combined efforts of our global team over many years, says the message from Rockstar at the top of the webpage. We want to acknowledge and thank everyone who contributed to these games from their original launch in 2013 all the way through to present day. While this new page on Rockstar's website might not mean a lot at face value, the fact that it has come about at this point in time suggests that the studio is truly prepping to move on from GTA 5. As mentioned, we already know that Rockstar Games is currently developing the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series. And while details on that project are still scarce, it seems clear that much of the studio is finally turning the page and is moving on away from GTA 5. Even though GTA Online will surely continue to be updated for the foreseeable future, it's apparent that Rockstar is now looking to close the book when it comes to the latest Grand Theft Auto game. And I'm going to ask you the same question they're asking here on comicbook.com. How do you feel about Rockstar finally moving on from GTA 5? And in the meantime, I'm going to read the comments. Cobra Disney Jedi says, I never played GTA. That's fine. And let's see. Input says, hey, Cobra Disney Jedi. Hope you're doing well. Yes. Cobra, I hope you are doing well. Also, same, never had interest in that type of vulgarity. To each their own. I have played them, and I played GTA 5, eventually got bored of it, and stopped playing. And let's see. input is saying I'm okay. Good. So, it's about time that GTA 5 sees its end. Don't get me wrong. It was fun to play in the beginning, but after a while, you just get bored of it. And, I've played a lot of Star Trek Online, but as much as I played of that game, it even got to a point where I had to put that game down and stop playing because I was getting bored of it. Hmm. So that's the story there for GTA 5 and welcome JPR PH1. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by and I really appreciate it. It's always good to see you. And let's go ahead, move on to our next story here. And our next story is actually going to be an anime story about a new anime that's going to be premiering on Netflix. So let me go ahead and share that screen. All right. So we have this article here from Bounding in the Comics, and the article goes on to say Netflix reveals Cyberpunk Edge Runners release date with new fast-paced trailer. And this was actually posted on Saturday, September 3rd. It says the sun is setting, the machines are warming up, and the curtain is about to rise on Netflix and CD Projekt Red's upcoming Cyberpunk 2077 anime spin-off, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Created in collaboration with world-renowned animation studio Trigger, Kill la Kill, as Gridman, and it goes on to say the animated take on the world of CD Projekt Red's 2020 RPG revolves around a street kid named David Martinez who must fight to survive amongst the seedier elements of Night City. Along the way, David will find himself teaming up with and fighting against a number of the Metropolis body mod obsessed citizens, including the Epiminous Edge Runners, an anime exclusive title given to those who wear their technological enhancements to work outside the law and overthrow huge corporations. Released on August 30th, Trigger's latest trailer for the series gives fans their first extended glimpses into the lives of David. Judai Yuki in Yukio is the voice actors parts, and it goes on to say, and Netrunner Lucy, and then of course it names her voice actress, and it looks like it's Io Yuki. Mabel and Uncle from Another World as well was one of her roles. A highly sought after tech apt who wants nothing more than to escape Night City and her dangerous past. Says opening with David and Lucy sitting on a rooftop, the trailer begins with the former recounting his life story, telling his companion about his childhood, living in a struggling single parent household with his mom, and admitting he remains in the city because living within its walls was her dream. The scene then cuts to a montage of various action scenes interspersed among an intense sequence depicting David giving his body over to cybernetic modification and becoming an edge runner. Amidst the intense gunshots and explosions of the montage, the trailer showcases some of the series' secondary cast, including David's aforementioned mother, and goes on to say who appears courtesy of a glitch. Military vet turned mercenary Maine, a solo edge runner equipped with the projectile launch system cyberware, whose aspirations of making it big are held back by his own prioritizing of his crew over gaining glory. And it goes on to say a comical and crude techie edge runner who, alongside, sorry, Pillar was the name of the character, who was a comical and crude techie edge runner, who, alongside his sister, can usually be found teaming up with Maine and his crew to do mercenary jobs. So there we have it. Cyberpunk 2099 is getting its own anime. Is it something you'd watch, or because you've either never played Cyberpunk or never had any interest in Cyberpunk, or maybe you did play Cyberpunk 2099 and you didn't care for it? Will you be skipping this anime, or again, will you be giving it a chance? And let's see. Cobra Disney Jedi says, I'm not much of a video game guy. I just never got into it. That's fine. There are a lot of people I know who never got into video games, and some people they just don't see the appeal of video games, and that's perfectly fine. So that's that story. I might check this out, but since I haven't played any any hours, or any minutes even of Cyberpunk, I don't know that I would necessarily do it. But it all depends on word of mouth. People will say, "Oh, it's good." People will say, "Oh, it's bad," and it'll be up to many of us to decide for ourselves if it's good or if it's bad. So let's go ahead and move on to our next story. And our next story is actually going to be our final story in this 1 hour edition of Pacific 414 Pop Talk. And it's talking about a rumor that Henry Cavill and Elizabeth Olsen are rumored to join House of the Dragon season 2. Now, I will admit, I have not watched a moment of House of the Dragon. I might end up watching it, especially after I get through the third episode of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. But I found this to be pretty interesting. And we all know that The House of the Dragon is produced by Warner Brothers. So I wonder if this rumor, has it all linked to Henry Cavill's contract to return as Superman. If, part of the contract was him, appearing in other projects. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. And of course, it goes on to say the Superman actor and the Marvel actress could be joining HBO's new series next season, according to a well known leaker. This was posted on Sunday, and it goes on to say Henry Cavill and Elizabeth Olsen are rumored for HBO's House of the Dragon season 2. Following the recording, I think they meant to say record breaking career premiere, not career, but premiere, HBO was quick to announce and greenlight a season 2 for the show. Regarding the rumor, the info comes from leaker Daniel RPK via Twitter, where not much is known other than it said Henry Cavill and Elizabeth Olsen are being eyed for roles in season 2 of House of the Dragon. Goes on to say Henry Cavill does star in his own fantasy show on Netflix with the Richard, with season 3 currently in development, so jumping ship to Game of Thrones would be pretty interesting. A fan commented that Henry Cavill would make a good Baratheon, Baratheon, and points out that Henry might not have enough time as he is starring in The Witcher, and rumors offer Henry Cavill will be back as Superman. Additional rumors even offer Henry Cavill is joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the big announcement coming at Saturday's Marvel Studio panel at D23 Expo next weekend. Goes on to say it has also been said Henry has been cast in Loki season 2 as Hyperion, Marvel's evil version of Superman, and according to his IMDb, Cavill is involved with Argyle, the Rosie Project, Highlander, and the Squadron 42 video game. Enola Holmes 2 also gets released on Netflix on November 4th, where Henry Cavill again plays the world's greatest detective, Sherlock Holmes. And it goes on to say Elizabeth Olsen for House of the Dragon says Elizabeth Olsen is, of course, known for playing Wanda and Scarlet Witch. Well, Wanda and Scarlet Witch are one and the same in the MCU. Recently, having starred in the Disney Plus series and Doctor Strange. Goes on to say, right now it is unclear where Elizabeth Olsen will appear next in the MCU. That is assuming she survived the events at the end of Doctor Strange 2. But by all accounts, it seems Wanda will be returning in some way or another. The big question is, will she return as a hero or a villain? If as a hero, how will they explain and forgive her for all the devastation she caused in WandaVision and Doctor Strange 2? They'll probably just gloss over it. Or they'll say it was her evil mirror universe version. Who knows? I don't know. I'm an MCU doubt, to be honest. According to her IMDb, Elizabeth Olsen doesn't have much on the table as she recently wrapped Love and Death, but interestingly enough, her IMDb has been updated with a rumored listing for House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 1, while Henry Cavill's has not. Hmm. All right. Superman and Scarlet Witch, Marvel and DC are uniting? Well, I mean, oh, let's look at it this way. If Henry Cavill does indeed join the MCU to play the MCU's version of Superman, that would be, pretty interesting. But I don't know if it would be enough to get people to sit through a whole TV show or sit through a whole movie just so they can see Henry Cavill. But then that's also up to the individual whether they would do that or not. And input latency says, I return, just giving friend a pep talk. Has the MCU died yet? Yes? Cool. Well, it's pretty much on life support if you want to look at it that way with some of the projects that are still going out. I mean, Loki season 2, and they still have other movies that are coming out. And of course, She-Hulk's going on right now. And I've seen enough clips from She-Hulk, and I'm glad I'm skipping it. And it's just not for me. It's just not a show I'm really interested in. It has nothing to do with She-Hulk being a woman. It's just a show that doesn't appeal to me. I said this many times before. I'm just burned out when it comes to the MCU. Plain and simple. I am burned out. Now, I do want to end the show tonight by saying that tomorrow here on the Pacific Forum for YouTube channel, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be having a special live stream and we will be celebrating the 56th anniversary of Star Trek. And we will be specifically talking about the original series all the way up to Enterprise. So that does include the 6 movies with the original cast, you know, the 4 movies with the Next Generation cast, and I've even told some folks offline, and I'm letting you all know here during this broadcast that if there's a book that you enjoyed reading that takes place during, you know, any of those time periods, even if it was written after the show's ended, and you want to talk about that book, talk about it. You're more than welcome to talk about it. We're going to be celebrating that era of Star Trek because a lot of fans became Star Trek fans, whether it's from the original series or when Next Generation came out, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, or even the movies were their first glimpse of Star Trek, even the Star Trek games that came out. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And there's the link to the actual stream. So I do invite everybody to come on for tomorrow night. Again, that will be an open panel. Everyone is invited. And I mean everyone. So, come share your stories about Star Trek, what it means to you, what certain series mean to you, and what you like the most about Star Trek itself. Why does it still hold a place in your heart, especially that era of Star Trek? You can even talk about your least favorite episode. And I'm sure many of us have our least favorite episodes lined up, and they're episodes that even if you're watching it on a streaming service like Paramount Plus or you have the DVDs and Blu-rays, you go, "Oh, that episode's coming up next." Nope, not watching it. And let's see. Yes, input. Everyone is invited. Everyone is invited to join the panel. I wanted it to be one of those things, just like Pop Talk, where if you want to come in and talk about your love of Star Trek and that particular era, well, then come on. If you want to hit me up after this stream so you can get a link, fine. If you want to wait till tomorrow evening and wait for me to post the invite link, which I will post the invite link 15 minutes before the show starts. So at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, I will post the invite link for anybody who wishes to come on. I won't wait for the start time of the show to post the link. I will do it 15 minutes ahead of time for anybody. And I mean anybody who wants to come on. Let's see. Input says, I'll try and pop by the chat before I stream tomorrow. Till then, good night, peeps. God bless. Good night. And, hope to see you tomorrow. And of course, if I don't see you tomorrow, have a good stream. And thank you again for the follow on Twitch. I really do appreciate it. So let's see. We got 6 minutes. Is there a story that we can talk about in the next 6 minutes? And then we can go ahead and wrap up the show. Let me go ahead and look for another story to read off to all of you in the next few minutes. Let's see. Oh, all right. Let's go ahead and read one more House of the Dragon story real quick. And how that show appears to be gaining viewers and not losing viewers. So that's a good thing for HBO and HBO Max. So let's go ahead, post that there. All right. So this comes from Cosmic Book News, and it says House of the Dragon ratings continues to climb with episode 3. HBO's House of the Dragon is a smash hit for the network as the viewership ratings continue to fly high. All right. It says HBO's House of the Dragon is a smash hit for the network as the viewership ratings continue to climb. Deadline reports that episode 3 saw a big 27% bump compared to episode 2 as 16 million viewers tuned in to watch the epic episode featuring Matt Smith in action in the Battle of the Stepstones region. Well, of course, he's the doctor. At least he'll always be the doctor to me because, as the 11th Doctor, that was the doctor I was watching at the time. And says the episode saw Keen Viserys and telling his daughter, Princess Rihanna, to marry where she thinks her father will eventually renege on its promise of succession, as he now has a male heir and is pregnant with another child. It goes on to say the first episode of House of the Dragon also saw record ratings for HBO as 10 million people tuned in, which saw HBO immediately greenlight the show for season 2, where Henry Cavill and Elizabeth Olsen are rumored to be coming to the series. Goes on to say Samba TV has also reported 4.8 million households tuned in to watch House of the Dragon premiere in the US, which blows by Amazon's Rings of Power series that only had 1.8 million. That's a big difference. The show also has an 8.8 rating on IMDb and a Rotten Tomatoes. Both the critic and audience scores are at 85%. All the talk surrounding House of the Dragon is around the ratings and viewership and how good the series is, while all the chatter about Rings of Power is about racist fans. That's telling. Okay, it goes on to finish up by saying, based on George R. R. Martin's book Fire and Blood, the series House of the Dragon takes place 172 years before the events of Game of Thrones and tells the story of House Targaryen. Also starring in the show includes, well, I'm not going to even read that. So good to see that House of the Dragon has found its audience, at least for now, with its third episode so far being the highest rated episode of the series. And again, like I said, and don't hold me to it because I won't be rushing to do so, but I might give it a look. And let's see. Whoopa is saying, so light part of fan is busted, but fan part of fan is still working. Thankfully, random update. But hey, all right. Sorry, was gone. Had to play handyman for a second. Good news. I did not electrocute myself. Good. You're not Pikachu, Whoopa. You're Whoopa Troopa. So, again, for those of you who are still here, the question I had for you earlier, unfortunately, YouTube is not cooperating. But the poll question I have for everybody is, would you A, watch a 1 hour edition of Pop Talk, B, watch a 2 hour edition of Pop Talk that has pop ins, or C, watch a 3 hour version of Pop Talk with pop ins? The 1 hour version wouldn't have pop ins. So, again, A, B, or C? It's just something I've been thinking about, like I said, and I've been thinking about it for a while. But would you guys A, continue to watch a 1 hour version of Pop Talk, B, watch a 2 hour Pop Talk with pop ins, or C, watch a 3 hour version of Pop Talk with pop ins? And hello, Pip Viper, you got here near the end of the show. So I will wait for everybody. All right. Whoopa says he voted yes. And I'm sorry I missed that, brother. But I'd watch all three versions. Okay? And anyone else? A, for a 1 hour version without pop ins. B, a 2-hour version with pop ins. C, a 3-hour version with pop ins, while the Sunday edition would still be the long form. And, this could be a thing where it wouldn't necessarily affect the Wednesday show. I could do a 2-hour, 3-hour Wednesday show, but depending on if, say, I'm asked to be on a stream. So, because I'm asked to be on a stream, I need to cut the show to either 2 hours or even an hour. Okay, so Pit Viper says he'd watch either one. He'd he'd watch a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour version. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Anyone else that's still here? If you're lurking, come on. Come on out of the shadows. I don't bite. I'm not mean. Only if you push the wrong button, then that activates the mean mode. Come on. Don't be shy. All right. So let's see. Gap is saying with a co-host, then maybe have a panel show where you shoot the crap about topics of entertainment. Yeah, that would work too. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've had a random stream where we did just that, shooting the breeze. I actually had one a few months ago, and Baron Armentag and Spark were able to join along with Cash Money, and people seemed to like it because all we were doing was shooting the breeze. We weren't talking about one topic or another topic. We were just having a discussion. Okay, let's see. But I like all of them. So, all right. All right. So, by you guys saying you like all of them, it wouldn't hurt if, I cut it down one night to, a 2-hour show or a 3-hour show or a 1-hour show. You'd watch either way. Let's see. Pitt says if the content is good, why would they not watch? Well, they're my community, if you want to put it that way. But you're all my friends. You've all supported this channel. You've all been here. I want to ask you. I don't want to just one day say, "Hey guys, I'm only doing an hour show." That's why I put it in the Discord when I posted about tonight's episode starting at 8 that it was going to be an hour. That's why I put it on Twitter, put it on Parlor, put it on Getter, put it on Minds, put it on Instagram, all the social media, just so people are aware that this is going to be a shorter show than normal. 'Cause I want to give you all the common courtesy. I don't want you all to think, what, is something wrong? Mike, something you're not telling us? No, I don't want you guys to think that. I have enough respect for each and every one of you to let you know what time the stream's going to start, what day I'm going to stream. And when I see you guys, I try to make sure that I acknowledge each and every one of you. And if I miss somebody, then I try to make up for it. Oh, very funny, Gap. Very funny. Ha ha ha. No. See, that's what I was afraid of. That's what I was afraid of. People would think I'm getting burned out. No, I'm just looking for alternatives. Again, say I am asked to join a stream on a Wednesday. And in order for me to make that stream after I've committed to it, I've got to cut the show to either 2 hours if I decided to go 3 hours or 1 hour, depending on when that stream started. I want to make sure that I'm available for you guys, but I also want to make sure that I'm available for anyone else who might think, let's get Pacific on there. Or, if something comes up where, okay, I got to be somewhere at 9 o'clock at night, well, you know, I may not make it there at 9 o'clock at night, but I still want to give you guys an hour show. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm not burned out doing this. I still enjoy doing it. I don't care if it's here on YouTube. I don't care if it's over on Twitch. I'm enjoying doing it. Yeah, I know. Do what suits me. But again, I have respect for each and every one of you who support the channel. And Whoopa says, I think a mix up might be good. Alternate between solo 1 hour and 2 to 3 hour with pop ins. Maybe depending on how much news there is to go over. Yeah. And that's another thing I was thinking of too, Whoopa. You and I've gotten to know each other and, you know, we become friends. So, just mixing it up a little bit. It's like doing the box score. I know I haven't been doing too many box scores lately, but I have been posting shorts here and there, recapping the night's game or the day's game in a quick format. And then I will occasionally still do the long format of the box score, just change it up a little bit. And Pit Piper says, you have been grinding. Yeah, I know I have. I know I have, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy the interaction I'm getting right now. I enjoy the interaction I get over on Twitch. Yes, in my opinion, Twitch is harder. And there's going to be a lot of people that say they're both hard. Yes, they're both hard. But, over here, I have gotten to know so many people, whether it's from this channel or the fact that I pop up in the chat on other channels to watch other content creators. And let's see. I could do that too. I have done that before. I have done a 90-minute version of Pop Talk before. You know, when I've been asked to be over on Fandomology streams, I have done a 90-minute version. And I've been able to get that done and then still be on the other stream in time. And Pit Viper says, because I do need to kill bugs with my dude. Backup is requested. For Grounded, yeah, I know. And for anyone who hasn't played Grounded, give it a try. Just think of Honey I Shrunk the Kids. I could do 60-second box scores with PACIFIC414 as a short. I could, give a quick rundown of entertainment news and anime news. I don't know how well they would turn out, but it's something to practice. So, again, one more quick promotion for tomorrow night's stream at 8 p.m. Eastern. And again, that's open to everyone. If you want to talk about the original series, talk about the original series. You want to talk about Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, the movies, books, games, we can talk about it. And Pipper says, oh, that is a good idea. So, yep. Again, tonight was just an experiment. Just an experiment. And Call it the 62nd inning. I'll think about it. Right now, it's still under the box score label because it's still me giving a recap. It's just me giving a much quicker recap of what's happening in the game or what happened in the game a lot of times. And, I'll say, yeah, the Cubs won today by a final score of 4-3. Patrick Wisdom and Wilson Contreras knocked in a couple runs, and Keegan Thompson was able to strike out 7 over 6 innings, which in today's baseball, I guess, is acceptable. So, you know, that's just what's going on here on the Pacific Forum 4 YouTube channel. I've said this before. I'm gonna always look to change things up just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. It's always gonna be on the back of my mind. Well, maybe I should incorporate this. Maybe I should do that. So it's just all part of this channel growing. It's all part of this channel evolving. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to be the same Mike. The pitching change. True. Or, I got an idea. I got an idea. The closer. Quick, sweet, and right to the point. I don't know. There's probably already a show called The Closer. Actually, go ahead and look at some of my uploads for the box score in the shorts section, Pit Viper. You will see how some of them have performed well and some of them not so well. But it just all depends on the time of day, too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't know if you noticed it, Gap. I have started doing that. I started doing that with the Ninja Turtle streams, and those have really kicked off. So I'm really glad that folks are enjoying watching me play the games and, tournament fighters the other night watching me get my ass kicked over and over and over and over and over again. But I was still having fun. And that's the whole point. I have been talking to somebody behind the scenes, and it's told me just make sure you're having fun. Make sure you're putting on the content you want to put on, but by doing that, make sure you have fun with it. And I am. I never thought I'd be doing this YouTube thing. This wasn't something I thought of one day and went, "Oh, I'm going to be a YouTuber." No, it's something I laughed at. I really did. And I know we're going over the hour mark, but I'll get ready to end it here soon. But it wasn't something I woke up one day and went, "I want to be a YouTuber." I started thinking about it one day, and then in the original Pacific 4 and 4 channel, yes, this is the reboot because the original channel wasn't going anywhere. But in the original channel, I posted the Kane video that's on this channel and a couple other wrestling videos and, a couple of videos from vacations I've taken. And like I said, it wasn't going anywhere. So I deactivated it. And part of the reason why I deactivated it was because, you know, COPA and everything and how they would get stricter with content that was aimed at kids and not aimed at kids. And I had a knee jerk reaction. So I deactivated the channel. And then I just sat there and I waited and just kept thinking about it, going, you know, I can make sure that people know that this content isn't intended for children. So I'm going to restart this because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing Cubs recaps, even when the Cubs lose. I still enjoy it because it's a part of me. You get to see another part of me, the part of me that's a passionate baseball fan. You get to see the part of me that's a passionate fan of Star Trek, a passionate fan of Star Wars, Back to the Future, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know, the early MCU movies, Doctor Who, and movies like Rambo, Predator, Terminator. y- you'll definitely get to see that side of me when we actually start talking about those movies because I do want to have streams just dedicated to certain movies like I do with the Saturday streams dedicated to one topic. I do eventually want to have a stream coming up talking about one movie. I would have normally done the Star Trek stream on a Saturday, but with tomorrow being September 8th, and that was the day that the original series premiered, I wanted to do it on the actual day, just like I did it last year. I wanna just keep it going, and I like having the specially themed shows where we get to talk about different topics. It was fun talking about anime with a lot of people. It was fun talking about video games. It's been fun talking about wrestling. It's been fun talking about all of it with different people. People, you know, I would have never met without this platform. People who live, in another country, in another part of the United States. People I would have never met. They would have never met me. But because of this platform, we've all met. We've all met. And that's what's great about this platform. That's what creates the community, as us being able to meet one another. Whether you stick around in the chat all the time or whether you pop in on a panel, that's the community. That's the bond we all share. We all grow together, as Orville Nation says. So, yeah. All right. That's all right. I blame Siri for a lot of things. Of course, I blame my phone for a lot of autocorrect. But yeah, this channel doesn't grow because of me. It grows because of all of you. I'm only a part of the puzzle. All of you are the remaining parts of that puzzle. And Gap is saying, well, all those cool franchises you like to do specific special shows on that would be fine with us as a panelist. Yeah, yeah. Because speaking of panelists, he's been on this channel a couple of times. Pop Culture Mechanic and I, a few months ago, did one talking about G1 Transformers. I would like to do another panel talking about G1 Transformers, but with more panelists. Definitely have Pop Culture Mechanic back, but get other panelists back who have a love and a passion for Transformers. Heck, the collector streams. I still want to do a third collector stream on the channel. Those have been fun. Those have been a blast. So yeah, nice, nice. And question Pit Viper, the game did save it this time. I hope, because you know how that game can be sometimes. You hit save and for some reason the cloud-based saving won't save it. But you know, you you're all a part of the Pacific 414 community. You're all a 414. I don't care who you are, what you do in your professional life, what you do in your personal life. You're all a 414, and thank you very much. So, on that note, I am going to finally wrap this up because we've been going for an hour and 30 minutes, but it's been fun. It has been a lot of fun. And again, before I leave, of course, I want to thank Pit Viper, also known as TKO. Your secret's out now, buddy. Yeah, After Dark. I also want to say thank you to Whoopa Troopa. No hard feelings about the Cardinals sweeping the Cubs. And I also want to take the time to thank Input Latency. Thank you for taking the time to stop by this evening. Really appreciate it. Same with Cobra Disney Jedi. I hope you're feeling better, brother. And we also had JPR PH1. Thank you very much. It's good to see you. And we also had Alan Copeland, fellow Cub fan. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate your support. And of course, Phil McCracken. And yeah, Phil McCracken with his smart ass comments. But you know, it's Phil. He's the ultimate troll. And he'll even own up to it. So that was everybody who was here in the chat today. Again, thank you all so very much. I will see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where we will definitely have fun talking about Star Trek from the original series all the way up to Enterprise. So thank you all very much. And remember, I'm not just a baseball guy, I'm an all around guy who does episode reviews, movie reviews, live streams talking about pop culture with PACIFIC414 Pop Talk. I also do game streams and shoot the breeze streams. So thank you all very much. If you liked this live stream, give it a thumbs up. If you did it, give it a thumbs down. Leave a comment in the comment section below and consider subscribing to the Pacific 4 and 4 YouTube channel. And most importantly, have a good rest of your Wednesday and a good evening. And I also want to let you all know real quick before I sign off with actually, two more things. Two more things, real quick. I know. You just don't want to sign off, do you, Mike? Uh, nah, nah, but I need to. But, anyways, Friday, I will be on Potato Revan's channel. We will be talking about classic TV shows. And then Saturday, Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, you can all come and laugh and point your fingers at me and anything else as I watch episode 3 of The Rings of Power. And I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be honest with you guys. If I see things that I like about the episode, I'll say it. If I think the episode sucked, I'll tell you the episode sucked. So, with that being said, I will finally bid you adieu and see you tomorrow night. Take care, everyone.